Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Tech-Mex podcast. This is your host, Eric Ramirez, and we've got Mondo here too. This is episode 51. We're bringing you the top stories in Bitcoin, tech, and wealth so you can make it to Burning Man next year too. Dale.
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 Yeah, man.
I don't know if y'all noticed anything different about Mondo this week.
I don't know, man. It's like maybe I got a new haircut or something like that.
Well, for those of you that haven't noticed or that are joining us for the first time, this is not Mondo's normal look. He's got some new locks on today.
Yes. And I'm
So
loving them, man.
on? What's going on with this? Is this just part of your Cybertruck look or what?
Dude, I'm just right now for people that are not in YouTube, I'm having some locks and they're very long. And I'm going to be like shoeless. I'm going like this to Home Depot in my Cybertruck. Just to mess with people's heads. It's like, what the heck with this dude?
It's like, this guy looks a little confused, man.
No, this guy is eccentric.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
So I feel that if you just see me in the street, I remove my bandana and my glasses, bro, like, hey, this guy looks like a hobo. But if I come in now from the Cybertruck, man, it's like, oh yeah,
Eccentric. That's right.
Eccentric. Have you seen this guy? Seuss is like an Instagram dude. He's an old dude too, but he's like a billionaire. And
yeah, the super rich guy. He's a little bit older, right? He's got all the gray hair.
Yes, it's like he's copying me.
Yeah. He's taking notes, I'm sure.
He's taking notes on my locks.
Well, maybe if you bump into him at Burning Man, y'all can share notes, huh?
Yeah. So for a lot of people that don't know me yet, I'm a burner. I go every year there. We have a couple friends in common that we go. This year is gonna be like very big. The camp. It's about maybe 50 people. We'll see how many turn out
Cat
to
camp
be.
is going to be.
Yes.
It keeps growing, huh?
It keeps growing up. I mean, it used to be only few, then tens, then now 20s and so on. So yeah, it's getting bigger and bigger. So usually Burning Man happens by the end of August and it finished by Labor Day. So we'll see what will happen in the playa, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. What? Yeah, it does sound like fun. So you know what? I did hear though that they didn't sell out tickets this year. Like it's the first time in over a decade or something like that.
Yeah, I do attribute this because last 2 years they were very, very harsh on everyone, even for us that we go every year. Dude, I mean, it was brutal in some cases. The water not being able to go out, right? Like people started getting like all like paranoid and all of that. So and previous year it was super hot. So I think that maybe that didn't help. And the other thing is that a lot of the techies they got laid off. So 200,000 people got laid off, right? So I feel that disposable link or disposable money, because it's not cheap to go to the event, man. It's like you'll be spending a few $1,000, and if you are a newcomer, you have to buy everything, right? Like tents, shoes, like a specific shoes to be able to kind of walk. Yes, you can go in the cheap way, but sometimes you need like certain things to note because it's tough. The environment is pretty tough.
Well, it doesn't sound too encouraging for people to go. But like, I think when we had the pod last year during this time, you shared like it was the one that made the news. Like they said, what was it? Some kind of the mud. There was all this mud and all this rain. And
yeah, it is
literally stuck and
you just got stuck. Exactly. So we'll see. I think that every year is different. So they are completely different every time that you go. So, but I'm excited.
Yeah, well, I think our buddy Lee is out there in Playa already. So he's saying it's actually pretty cold. So it's probably, he said in the 40s, 50s or something like that out there.
Yeah, I'm joking with my wife that this year maybe it might snow.
Right. That'd be some crazy stuff right there.
That's right. It's like, man, you have like a super heat, like last year the rain, and now maybe this one it will be snow. because it's super cold.
So so funny. Well, we'll look forward to hearing the stories when you get back from Burning Man this year. We'll see how it turns out, but it looks a lot of fun. It looks like you're prepared for it too. So with your locks, your dreadlocks.
I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
Awesome. Well, moving on. Let's see. In Bitcoin this week, we saw actually we had a special day, a commemorative day, August 21st. Mando, what can you tell us about August 21st? What does that mean?
Dude, it's my favorite number, first of all, with 8. Because you just literally invert it. And now guess what? Infinity, baby.
Mm.
So, yes, Michael Saylor tweeted a few days back that is Infinity Day, which basically you just inverted the 8 as an infinity, and then it's 21 million, we all know, kind of Bitcoins. But what is your take? What do you think that is trying to say there?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Actually, this is the first year that I've heard about August 21st being Bitcoin Infinity Day. I had not heard of it, but I can see it's like an interesting marketing ploy, and Bitcoin's trying to make it. Michael Saylor's trying to make it stick, right? But I like the meaning of it, and so you can dig down and interpret it a couple of different ways. I think the one that I like is right. The 21. That one obviously stands for the 21 million Bitcoin that will ever be mined, right? But then also the infinity piece. Why infinity? Like, yeah,
Hmm.
infinity is cool, but what does that really mean? And I think when we look at what a lot of folks have said about Bitcoin, and when people say, well, how high do you think the price can go for Bitcoin? A lot of people say infinity. But why do you say infinity? Like, it's not just, oh, it's going to keep going up forever. It's because usually it's denominated in USD terms. So you might say right now it's at 65K or whatever it is for one Bitcoin. But with inflation, US inflation, inflation can always keep going up, which means the value of Bitcoin can infinitely go up as well. So that's where I'm seeing it. Do you have any other interpretation of it?
I think that that's kind of the one, right? Like keeping pumping. So I feel that at some point maybe we'll get decoupled from fiat, from US dollars, and maybe things are actually gonna be more on the how many satoshis instead of how many dollars. I don't know when that is gonna happen or if that happens, but basically all of the maxis,
Triple maxis,
triple
according
maxis
to
now.
Saylor.
That
Hmm.
that's exactly, it's like a basically kind of rooting for that, right? I do feel that uh, we can see that pattern like with the Argentinian peso. They devaluated their currency almost 90%, 99%. So it's
Hmm.
like it's bananas, right? So uh, I can see a place where as well Bitcoin might be uh, defacing or devaluating the dollar in a way, or just in some point, like I said, right, detaching.
Yeah, for sure. And for those of y'all that are interested, like, where did this? Michael Saylor did not invent this Bitcoin Infinity Day, but it was actually between a couple of different people. So there's this guy named Knut Svanhold. He's a Bitcoin author, and he's the first one that actually commemorated this day in just a few years ago in 2021. But he as a Bitcoin author, there was this other artist, Encrypted Fractal, the artist, that he actually made these plaques and he started giving it out to people that he thought deserved it or were worthy of it, that in the Bitcoin community. He gave this plaque called Infinity Keys, and it's literally like it looks like a golden Bitcoin on a plaque, and then it has like this little key shape added to it. And so this is kind of where this started from, and now it's been going. Michael Saylor, by the way, I think he's the number 11 recipient of the Infinity Keys from Encrypted Fractal, so that's pretty fun. We'll post a picture up on the YouTube so you guys can see it. But it's pretty interesting, and you know what? These types of things will keep coming. Just like we see, like Bitcoin, the pizza day,
Hmm.
also, right? So that's also, part of the Bitcoin lore, and we'll keep adding different things to it.
I'm just asking to myself, what is my key?
We're ready for our keys, so we
We are
can put
ready
it
for
up
our
back here.
kids. We can put it on.
Come on, encrypted fractal. Where's our infinity key? It has a
That's right.
cool name, actually, infinity key, right?
Infinity key. Yes. You
Maybe that's what
can.
I'll name my Cybertruck. I don't know.
Infinity truck.
Infinity truck, right?
I think that Bitcoiners, they have a. It's one of those, and that's the reason why I like a lot Burning Man, because it's actually a lot of people from tech industry. There's a lot of technology, right? And I mean, we love technology. A lot of our wealth came from that, right? So, and
Mhm.
I think that uh, tech is an equalizer for everyone. So I feel that maybe yes, in some point we will need our key.
All right, encrypted fractal. We'll tag you on this. See if we can get that set up. I'm sure we're on the same level of Michael Saylor here.
Just a
So
little bit. By the way, though, talking about keys, I was reading something from LiveWire Markets. They are estimating almost 6 million bitcoins lost. Could you believe that?
that's a lot of lost Bitcoin. I mean, if you're considering there's only 21 million, right, that
I
will
mean,
eventually be mined.
you hear all of those news. Do you remember several years ago about the guy that he lost his hard drive and they put it on the trash can? Then he hired some robots or some people like Boston Dynamics to be able to.
To find it in the at the junkyard.
Mhm. Uh, I mean, 6 millions is a lot. Like you're talking almost 20 something percentage of the whole stash of whole Bitcoin. So no wonder why they keep going up, huh?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we're not financial advisors here, FYI, but yeah, that's what the prospect is here, and it's more than just the price. Obviously, Bitcoin represents a lot more than just that. It's a lot of opportunity for a lot of different people, and especially in a lot of countries that are being hyperinflated. This gives them an out. It gives the power back to the people, and really creates a lot of transparency for a lot of governments. I think it represents more than just the price, but the price is just kind of the fun aspect that we get to track kind of on a weekly basis.
Yeah, and sometimes somebody asks me, what did I thought about Dogecoin, right? And and it's funny though because I was thinking, if you are in one of those countries, where are you gonna put your money on? In a Zimbabwe currency or Dogecoin? So I don't know, man. I probably will choose the Dogecoin.
Yeah, actually, it's like I think Dogecoin did make a pump this week. Well, a lot of things pumped this week, but we'll talk a little bit about that a little later with the Fed and what's
Yes.
going on. Well, there were actually some another news, another Bitcoin news. Did you see? There's a lot of politics stuff going on right now. I know the DNC happened this week, and there's some shifts and folks that were dropping out of the race. One of them being Robert F. Kennedy. So RFK, which he made this really big keynote at the last national conference in Tennessee, right? Just last month. Where he was proposing a strategic reserve of Bitcoin by the U.S. government, where they should, first of all, just keep all the Bitcoin that they currently have, and then start buying. Start accumulating or DCAing Bitcoin over the next 20 years until they get to a point where they have like 4 million Bitcoin, or like 20 or 25% of the total amount of available Bitcoin, so that they can then back the dollar again with Bitcoin. So it's a pretty interesting plan. Well, we heard this week that he's dropping out of the race. Did you hear about this, Mundo?
Do you think that I look like political?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. It's like, I think that it's just a political move, right? So um, endorsing other candidates. The Trump is whether you like him or not, he's a very savvy negotiator. I feel that he maybe he negotiated with him like, hey, you know what, endorse me, then in that way you'll have a place in my cabinet, whatever.
Mhm.
So I think that all of the pieces are aligning, so in that way kind of it moves forward. But yes, it was very interesting. I mean, how these politicians now they are more into crypto, and I think that is also because some of the very heavy hitters like BlackRock bankers they are there too. So they are just following the money. That's usually what politicians do. So it's like,
Yeah.
well, before they used to be like how Charlie Munger called it, rat poison.
Oh yeah, rat poison squared.
Yes, and and the other one was like even Trump was saying something before, like it was just by criminals, something like that, right?
Yeah,
Um,
it's only for bad hombres.
yes, bad hombres, right? So it's like for me, it's like, well, it's good. I really think that governments they have to help us to have some guidelines to reduce scams, to make obviously the platform a little bit more secure. But the idea of being able to use Bitcoin to kind of back it up the dollar, that's an interesting one. And I don't think that might happen, or if it happens, it's going to take a while in US. But yeah, I'll be curious for that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And so, even though RFK is dropping out of the race, I think he wanted to be. He was running as independent or something like
Mhm.
that. Even though he's dropping out the race, Senator Cynthia Lummis is still out there with the bill that's actually proposing this and out there and trying to gain support and things like that. So that's not going away necessarily. And also, it is part of Trump's plan that he's said outwardly that he would also support. I'm still waiting to see like kind of what the blue side is going to say about crypto in general. I know uh, Elizabeth Warren is still trying to get after your Bitcoin, so that's a little bit worrying there. So we'll see kind of what comes out as we get closer to the race and things like that. What their plan is on crypto and what they want to do with it.
Yeah, once again, try to get your coins if you're listening out of exchanges. I feel that in some point, as government gets more involved, they might even block companies like Coinbase to say, "Hey, you're only gonna have to withdraw something, right?" Similar to a bank. Like if you
Mhm.
want to go and ask the bank, "Hey, I want to pull half a mil, 1 mil," it takes time. It takes for them even several days to just clear you because first of all, they don't even have the money on the bank, right? So
Right.
uh, I feel that it's gonna be something like that. You're gonna be able to pull it, but you're gonna have to pass all of the red tape to be able to do it. So right now, just pull even if you have several millions there, just pull it out into your cold storage wallet or whatever, because I feel that it's gonna be scrutinized in very very shortly.
Very true. And we say this from experience. We're not just being paranoid. I mean, Mano and I have both lost significant money due to kind of this third party risk of these exchanges kind of losing your money or taking your money or whatever the case is. So it is unfortunately a real risk at this point the in the life of Bitcoin until we get maybe better regulations and better oversight and things like that into the industry. So yeah, totally agree. Not your keys, not your coins. Still rings true. So be sure to take care of your coins, and if you can, and if you feel safe in doing so, um, take them offline, put them in cold storage. If you don't understand, ask a friend, someone, even on Reddit online. There's a lot of people or a lot of guides out there for you to be able to do this. Maybe it's something else we should visit in the future, Mondo, just to give our 2 cents on it too.
Yeah, because there are so many. There's a bunch of companies out there, and you have different devices. To be honest, all of them suck. It's like I would not be able to give this to my mom. Like I want something that anyone can use, right? So, um, sometimes we give hard time to Apple, but they have done a good job to be able to make it super easy, super
Yeah,
intuitive. So I think that that's what we need, a product like that that is so intuitive, so easy. But once again, it's cash, right? So people are losing their coins. So I feel that's the kind of the challenge. But we are all engineers in the community, some of us. So I think that we should be able to figure out a path forward for that. Yeah, get your money, get your coins from there.
Yeah, exactly. Keep them safe. So that's our public service announcement for this week. Okay, switching gears a little bit. In artificial intelligence, it's been kind of quiet on the front with AI. I mean, we have seen some other folks, some other companies releasing their large language models, their LLM, their chat bots. Essentially, I know Gemini is coming up strong. We've got some of the others that are doing really well. I know the Pixel phones just releasing their version 9 phones that has Gemini built in, and it can do all this cool stuff with the imaging with Gemini, uh, with their photo editing and things like that, which is actually a little bit scary. But we did see this one news outlet news story this week that was pretty interesting. Mondo, what was that about?
Man, which outlet? What do you mean?
Oh yeah, the Chat GPT story that you saw about the
Yes.
which countries are using Chat GPT the most.
It was very interesting uh, to see the ranking of the countries on which ones are using more GPT. For me, it's not surprising India because first of all, there's a lot of people, and there's a lot of people that they like technology and they learn how to code. So that one is like no brainer. But the second one was weird, Morocco, and I
Morocco.
yeah, it's like why and you know why they're using it
Hmm.
for learning, like for education. So
Okay,
we
like
might see
financial education or
it's just so
education
like
around Bitcoin.
you know education about everything.
Oh, okay.
So I feel that we might even start here in the next maybe 10 years or so Morocco there, right? So because they might level up. That's what AI is gonna do for all of these countries, right? The other one that
Hmm.
was on the kind of on the higher tier of higher is Argentina.
Hmm.
So and I was surprised that US was not on the top. It's like it was basically India, Morocco, UAE, Argentina, Brazil, right? So you have two Latam countries there. Then Indonesia, South Africa, Philippines, Sweden, South Korea, Turkey, then US. Like, what the heck, man?
Hmm. Not even in the top 10, huh?
Nope. So, uh, and then Australia and then Mexico. I
Hmm.
was surprised that actually what Mexico was above UK and Japan and China. Well, probably China, they might have restrictions. So
Yeah.
that doesn't surprise me. But then you see like Germany and South Arabia and Thailand, like, very, very low. So it was a bit interesting to me to see kind of the use. Talking about that, my mom and my aunt, they're here in my house. I was teaching them to how to use ChatGPT in their iPhone with the function for the to be able to talk with ChatGPT,
Hmm.
and they love it. And it's just so funny though because for me it's like I appreciate the whole all of the technology and what is behind it. And you know what? The first thing that they told me, it's like an Alexa, right?
Well, at least they understand, how you can do it.
Yes,
Though traditionally it's been typing, but now it's doing voice too, right?
yes, and I was like, man, it's like and then you have this powerful tool, and guess what they ask? What was the first question that they asked?
Oh, what do they say?
How if they have a recipe to make enchiladas?
Man, that's awesome.
So and obviously ChatGPT say, yeah, sure, you have to buy this, you have
Hmm.
to do this, and this is kind of the way that you have to do it. And they were like, oh man, this is awesome.
It's too funny. Well,
So
that's pretty cool.
yep.
Hmm.
So well, I start teaching them like how to use them, because my aunt she wanted to do a contract. It's like, hey, I'm looking for a lawyer and blah blah. Like, fear no, fear no more. At least you can get an idea of what type of contract you can ask the lawyer to do, right? So
Hmm.
then obviously, oh man, this is awesome because she didn't even know how to ask the lawyer to
Hmm.
what. So in that way, she can be very specific. It's like, hey, I need to do this contract for this, right? So They are liking it. Also, my dad, when I went to Mexico last month, is like, will this thing know the law of Mexico? I say, yeah. I mean, it's like that is public, so it has it. So then he started asking a couple things on the Mexican law. Obviously, ChatGPT has it, and my dad doesn't speak very well English. Um, then that he was speaking in Spanish to ChatGPT,
Mhm.
and yeah, ChatGPT was able to respond like, "Man, this is awesome!" And then he's using it almost every day too. So I think that maybe as we keep telling people and all of that, just hey, start using these tools, uh, you'll level up.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's part of the key, and it's really interesting. Right? Doing it in Spanish, ChatGPT knows Spanish is so funny, and all the languages, I suppose at this point. But it's very interesting, and it just goes to show you kind of where we are on the adoption curve for these AI tools. We are still pretty early, even though I think it's becoming more mainstream. But as the tools become better and better, obviously people are going to start using it more. So it's pretty neat. But speaking of like using these tools more, there's going to be a lot more companies that are out there, a lot more AI companies. I know a lot of these companies are getting funding to try and grow as fast as they can, take market share, look at different markets, like in terms of different functionalities that you can do with AI. But all of this requires a lot of extra compute, right? You need a lot
Mhm.
of power, you need a lot of GPUs, right? The hardware, the computers that are used to process these things, right? It's very compute heavy. So when you're thinking about this, is like, man, there's a lot of infrastructure that's needed for us to be able to support the growth in AI, and they're getting creative in terms of how to get access to this. Have you heard about this, Mundo?
Ding 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 ding. The key is GPU, man. And guess who has GPUs? Bitcoiners.
Exactly, the Bitcoin miners. They've got access to a lot of GPUs because they're mining it for Bitcoin. So I think there's a little collaboration that can happen there.
And we make mistakes too, right? Like Bitcoiners. Sometimes we were just throwing away some of those because you couldn't mine it because they were too slow. But right now, GPUs are like the hot thing because that's how you are running and powering AI. Just for people, just to, in a very simplistic terms, the GPUs are the processors that they help to the machine to make a lot of computation numerical. So and that's literally what they're trying to do with Bitcoin. They're trying to kind of crack the code, right, for mining. So yes, it's very interesting how the miners are finding also different ways to make money, which is good. This is good for everybody, for AI, for the society, and as well for the Bitcoin network.
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting. So, for example, there's a lot of Bitcoin miners here in Texas, just because Texas has said, "Hey, we want Bitcoin miners to come to the state of Texas. We'll help you. We'll support you." However, because of these Bitcoin miners obviously take a lot of electricity. There's some electrical grid problems, but they've turned it into a way to actually get additional revenue. So not only do these big Bitcoin mining farms, mine Bitcoin to get Bitcoin, and so I think they can. Right now, I think Bitcoin miners are getting them like at half price, maybe $35,000 for Bitcoin, which right now is worth maybe $65,000. So they've got that. So they're mining Bitcoins, and they're doubling the value there. But also with the electrical grid, at least here in Texas, whenever we as in Texas are running low power electrical grid, just because maybe it's super hot in Texas during a certain time period, the ERCOT or the grid will ask these Bitcoin miners, "Hey, shut down for a little bit. We'll pay you to shut down, just to make more electricity available for us normal consumers trying to keep our air conditioning on in these 100-degree plus days." So they've got that, and now they've got this third option here, of they're basically renting out capacity of their GPUs and their power even to AI companies that are also kind of power hungry and GPU hungry. So it enables some of these AI companies to ramp up real quickly so that they have this idea, they get funding, they got to it takes a while to build up your infrastructure, your warehouse that has all your GPUs. A quick way to do it is just to go find or partner with a Bitcoin miner that has this, and they can allocate it a small portion, maybe 10%, 15, 20% of their power and their GPUs, and they can make some extra revenue in that way too. So this Bitcoin mining seems to be pretty lucrative for a lot of people so far, and it seems like they're finding more and more different income streams here to be able to operate.
It's it's a pain to run this type of businesses, though. We had a small mining operation, right? It's
So
like
it was pretty big at the time, but compared to what we
no,
have
compared to
now,
right now, is that they have
yeah,
like full warehouses,
yeah,
and very like a complex, like a cooling systems. Right, ours it was like in our garage.
yeah. I had a
So
room dedicated to it.
yeah, yeah. So which is, I mean, it's a whole room, right? So
Hmm.
you have to wire the all of the different installation in your house, etc., etc. But right now they
Hmm.
are like literally in a whole warehouse, right? And sometimes even they're trying to put them under the oceans, and that way they don't have to pay for AC and cooling off the systems, right? Because they get super hot on as they are processing, like your laptop.
Sorry for the lag, y'all. I've got this Dell XPS. Dell, if you see this, come hit me up because this XPS is just acting up. I found out that there's thermal problems here that's causing the laptop to kind of slow down, and so apologize if our viewers see a little bit of lag. Blame Dell.
I thought that you just were like slow, like yeah, yeah. But I think that we'll keep seeing the miners how they are trying to figure out more different sources of revenue because um, it's accelerating, right? So the rate. So, but I think that is good, and it's funny because Michael Saylor also mentioned it that in some of the couple years ago that Bitcoin will enable AI, and I didn't understood in that time. It's like how because he didn't mention it, but now it's very clear, super clear how it will help to kind of power as well AI.
Yeah, definitely. I think these two industries are going to go hand in hand, and they'll be able to grow together. Because you can imagine there's a concept of agents, AI agents that are able to do different things. Like you can have, let's say, a grocery agent that does all your grocery shopping. Well, if you give this grocery agent access to Bitcoin or a cryptocurrency, it can automatically purchase things for you. It can automatically have things delivered, so you don't even have to think about it. It can tie into your different systems at home. If you have a smart home, knows what you need, knows, and just can automatically buy and pay. You don't really have to think about it. It just happens all automatically in the background. So it's little things like this that eventually these two industries will be going hand in hand, and they'll help each other grow.
I think though that that's kind of the very organic way, but something that is kind of on the silence is more about with AI, you can make a lot of different content that is like deep fakes. And
Oh,
with
yeah.
Bitcoin, you might be able to say, that's not me. I didn't give them my permission and my key. So then I feel that in the next few years, we're going to start seeing more like a true ownership. Like, hey, if I'm signing this, I'm endorsing this, right? So that's not me. That's AI generated. So I feel that crypto is going to tell you what are truly fake news, right?
Right.
And trying to figure out what is the what is truly happening. So privacy.
That's true. The whole blockchain technology, the thing that underpins a lot of the crypto or the whole crypto industry, is something that can be very useful. And I know, you know, this Sam Altman's from OpenAI ChatGPT, he had this. what is it? Do you remember what it's called?
WorldCoin, WorldCoin.
WorldCoin,
Yes.
where he was doing like eye scans of people and he was giving them world coins or whatever in return. I heard it's being investigated now because it's like that's a little iffy. I don't know. You're getting people's identity and things like that, so that's kind of a weird one. But yeah, I mean things are going in that direction. I think here's the thing. A lot of Bitcoin people are also privacy people. So I
Mhm.
don't know how much information they're willing to trade or to give back and forth. I think that's obviously going to be a discussion that comes up as we move forward through the growth of this technology. But it'll be very interesting to see kind of how that works.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah, boss. Yeah, boss. When I went to Jamaica, man, that was so awesome. It's so funny. I get there, I get to Jamaica. I'm like in a hurry, like, let's get to the beach. Where's our shuttle? Why is it running late? Blah, blah, blah. They're like, slow down, man. Yeah, man. Don't worry, man. We'll get there, man. Do you need
Be
a blunt,
happy.
man? It's like, oh my goodness. It's island time, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so, yeah, it takes a little bit to shift from city time
Yes.
or thinking fast to thinking slow or being in more of a,
It-
a
It's like
slow
the
situation.
story of the guy with the boat and is the fisherman, right? And the American comes and like, like trying to make all of this fast and yeah, you can make money. And the guy is like, well, why, right? And he keeps
Mhm.
saying why, and at the end it's like to be able to be in the boat fishing. Right? It's like something like that, man. It's like a
Yeah, I've heard the story. It's so true. It's kind of funny. Yeah, we want to make all this money so that we can do the stuff that we could do now
yes,
without all the extra work.
yeah. For this
But life
Jamaican
is part
guy,
of the
it's like
journey too, right?
he
The journey is
already is
part
in
of
the
that.
beach, right?
Yeah.
Every day.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's a good one. Well, moving on, switching gears again. We've had our Cybertrucks now for I've had mine for a couple months now. I know Mondo, you've had yours for probably about a month now too. So, what's your take on it? I know we talked a little bit last time about it. Anything new?
Dude, I'll tell you this, and this is not an overstatement. I continue to because people ask me, "How do you like it?" And that's usually the question. And now I can tell you, I don't think that I can go back. When I use my Merc, dude, I feel like what is this ancient machine? so so it's like like, and you have to put oil and then all like a gas, like man, it doesn't. Also the driving, dude, is like it's super smooth. The car doesn't like move or brake, right? It's very solid, right?
Mhm.
So I do feel a huge difference. I really notice a difference with that. So that's my first impression. What's your take there?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've got the same thoughts, but I will even go one step further. Even between the Model Y and the Cybertruck, it's still a big difference too. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Model Y is a very, very good car. It's a great car. My wife loves it, right? But there is even a big difference in that experience. I mean,
Oh.
part of it has to do with we're in the city. There's a lot of potholes, and in the
Mm.
Cybertruck don't care, right? It just goes over it. It doesn't really matter with the Model Y. You feel those those potholes. So I think for me that's just part of the experience. But the Cybertruck has been um, probably the best vehicle that I've ever driven.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, I'm pretty confident in saying that. I've driven across all the brands, right? All of the luxury brands, and I'm pretty comfortable in saying that. And it's super quick. Sometimes it's scary quick. Whenever I give people rides, I tell them, do you have your seatbelt on? Yes. Lean back in your seat. They're like, what do you mean? And I push on the pedal and because it just yanks you back.
Yes.
And they're like, it's like a roller coaster, literally. My wife, she still tells me, stop, don't do that, because it still actually turns her stomach. But it's, to me, it's a lot of fun.
Yes, same here. But Katie is like, well, you are like trying to make sure that your truck is clean. I'm gonna puke on it. So I guess she find a way to. So like, well, with that threatening, it's like I guess I could slow down.
Yeah, that's true.
Talking about my wife, I didn't expected her to really like the truck. Now
Mhm.
she's using it every day, man. Like it's like she can get the other car, but no, she uses the truck. So that was an interesting thing for me. I once again she started just loving the car.
I mean, I tell you, um, yeah. I mean, obviously, anytime we go out in the Cybertruck. We don't. The Model Y is just it's just used only when my wife takes it to work, right?
I
Any other time we're in the truck.
This is my first Tesla, so for me, I don't know how are the difference, right? I always like have friends that they had their own Teslas. I
Mhm.
don't know. For me, all of those they look like a like a Toyota, like a Camry.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, okay, the styling on the cars are not they're not as unique as the Cybertruck. We put it that way, right?
Yes.
And so yeah, the Cybertruck just kind of stands out. It's so funny. I mean, still every time I go out, it's people ask about it, people taking pictures of it. I have noticed one thing I don't like is like there's some drivers that get aggressive around you, like on the freeway and stuff like that. I guess they don't like Elon Musk or whatever the case is, But it's not that much, but it's to me it's noticeable compared to driving, something else that doesn't stand out as much.
Okay. I told you that I love it, but there are things that it really really frustrates me, man. Number one, my freaking Android, it keeps detaching from the application and it's annoying. But
Mm.
whatever. But you know what truly drives me crazy? Freaking fingerprints on the truck. And with my damn OCD, man, I have literally Windex in my truck. So, and the funny thing that I forgot the name of the brand, and you start putting on the sides because man, my kids are greasy. Those fingerprints everywhere, man. It's like, oh shit. Yes, that's. And my wife's like, well, what do you expect? This is stainless steel. It's like
Uh-huh.
it's like the fridge.
I think fridges now have something on there so you don't get the fingerprints. They need to do that with Cybertruck.
I don't know, but yes, that I didn't. I thought maybe when I was reading the blogs, I was thinking, these guys are like,
They're
like
being babies.
yeah, exactly, man. And I because it looks pretty cool. And you want to keep it like that, right? Yeah, I know
Mhm.
that there are some people that they put it on mud and all of that. You know, mine is just pristine. It's like a freaking spaceship.
Yeah, and you look like an alien too, right?
But by the way, in Mexico, a few years back, they used to call the cars, nice rides. They used to call naves. It's
Mm,
like an aircraft, right?
mhm,
So, and that was kind of the slang to just say, hey, because it's kind of a short Spanish word for a car. Nave is just two syllables.
mhm.
So it's like, hey, that's a cool nave, that's a cool car. So it reminds me like that. Yeah, it's a nave. It's like like a space a spatial craft.
Hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. It is this thing is one of those. It does look very space like. But speaking of like the fingerprints and stuff like that, I actually finally I washed mine for the first time. I'm not as OCD like as you mentioned about my truck. My truck, get dirty or whatever. But I did finally get my unlimited wash pass. So I watched it. Uh, I watched it twice yesterday. It's like, man, it looks
And are
different.
you sure that
It
you're
looks
not
different now
OCD?
that it's clean. It looks different now that it's clean again. I was like, okay, it's not bad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that
And by the
that
way, I
Mhm.
will say, I know it's been reported that you void your warranty and the Cybertruck falls apart if you drive it through an automatic car wash. I'm telling you, it did just fine. It did not fall apart, and I don't believe it voided my warranty at all. So it's just like any other car. I drive the Model Y through the automatic car wash, also no issues there. So myth busted.
The other thing that I'm waiting for is the FSD, right? The full self-driving.
Yeah.
So almost every time that I'm using the truck, I just go to the menu, right, to see if it's enabled. It's like, damn, Elon, stop firing those people from Tesla.
I know, right? Well, I did hear that it's September. It should be coming out. So hopefully it does actually. But there was a tweet this week that from one of the Tesla engineers that said that they might slow roll it. Like they might only release the auto parking
Mm,
first. So the parking, I guess it's pretty neat. I've used it on the Model Y.
mhm.
You're like, I can park myself, but it is fun. It kind of highlights parking spots, and you just push the button, and then you
Mhm.
tap the
I,
gas
I
pedal, and it
probably
parks for you.
would like more the summon, right?
Mm.
I by the way, I named my truck. It's like Mr. T. I pity the fool.
I pity the fool.
So yes, that's the name. Have you named yours?
I'm thinking I'm bouncing back and forth. My fraternities has the Knight, like
Mm,
KNIGHT, the Knight as its what do you call it? Its mascot. I don't know. And so I was thinking maybe the Cyber Knight or even Knight Rider. Right. I like that too. So I'm still thinking about kind of which direction to go, but I'm thinking something like that.
mm. Yeah, I mean we'll see. We'll see what name you turn out it to be. Are you planning to wrap it, the
Uh,
truck?
y- I think I'm gonna keep it like this for a while, at least until maybe we start getting a lot more
Mm.
Cybertrucks out in the wild. Because I like the way it looks right now, but I might want to change it. In the beginning I'm like, oh, that matte black, that would be so cool. But I might try to do something different. I'm not sure yet. I see all these Instagram pictures of these shiny, different colors and like these the iridescence and things like that. I'm like, that could be cool, but we'll see. What about you?
I, I'm probably gonna just grab some of those buffers. Freaking chrome, man. Hey, you
You
people.
blind everybody, right?
it's, like, it's like going flashy, Mando.
As my mother-in-law, she's like, "Oh, look at this trash can. It looks like your truck." I was like, maybe I should wrap it. I don't know.
I guess, man.
Have
But
you seen that meme? That meme started circulating. There's like this Rubbermaid stainless steel garbage can that looks kind of. It has a
yes,
pointiness
I
to it
have seen it,
also.
and I love it. I want that. My
So I told my mother-in-law, "Hey, you should buy it for me for Christmas. How about that?" I looked it up. It's like $500 for
holy
that
shit.
trash can. I was staying at a Hilton last week. We were visiting North Carolina. We did the Blue Ridge Parkway and we went to the Biltmore Mansion. But at the Hilton, when she sent that meme to me, I was like, wait a minute, I've seen that trash can. And it was in the executive lounge
Yeah.
at the Hilton. They actually had it. So I took a picture and I sent it back to her. It's like, look, I found one out in the wild. Oh gosh, but yeah, it's pricey. That's a $500 trash can. But I gotta have the trash can to match the truck. So
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Interesting. So yeah, let's put a picture there for the trash can for people that they haven't seen it.
yeah, yeah, that's true. Well, so speaking of garbage, a lot of there's been this Whistling Diesel YouTuber out there that did like a torture test with F-150 and a Cybertruck. And it didn't look like the Cybertruck actually fared too well. I mean, there were a lot of tests that the Cybertruck did do well, at least compared to the F-150. But it seemed like there was a catastrophic failure with the Cybertruck. Did you see anything about this recently?
I did saw the video that it was kind of like in these concrete things, and it was trying to pull the F-150, I believe, and that's when I saw the kind of the chassis. I don't know what is the
Mm.
name of the
The
bottom,
hitch,
like
the tow
the
hitch.
hitch. Okay, and it
Mhm.
just kind of pulled it out from the back. Is that the one that you're mentioning?
Yeah, that's it. So the F-150, during these torture tests and things like that, the F-150 actually got stuck, but the Cybertruck didn't. So they used the Cybertruck to pull the F-150 out of its predicament, basically. Well, in any case, when the Cybertruck pulled on the F-150, it kind of like jarred it a little bit, and it looked like it tore off the bumper. Well, it turned out that like the hitch like broke off or something like that. And so a lot of internet sleuths and investigators started doing a little bit of investigation, and they're like, well, it's because when they were doing testing on the Cybertruck, it actually fell on some concrete pilings or concrete circles or whatever those things are called, and the hitch landed on this concrete piece, and that's what initially fractured it. So then when the Cybertruck pulled on the F-150, it eventually failed and broke. But a lot of people are like, wait a minute, like, the Cybertruck should be able to handle this. It's pulling loads and things like that. It shouldn't just fail and break that way. So there are some follow-ups on that. And that actually, that is a little bit concerning. Even with the Cybertruck being dropped on its hitch, like, should it really fail in that manner? What are
Are
your
you
thoughts on
planning?
that?
Are you planning to be hitching or pulling an F-150?
I mean, you never know when you're at the beach. Any truck can get stuck, and hey, if I got the Cybertruck there, I pull the F-150 out. I do that, but it looks like my bumper could fall off if I do that. So I gotta be careful.
Yes. So I think that like anything else in this type of new cars, right? There's gonna be errors, mistakes engineers make. So usually Tesla have been doing a good job on trying to make those recalls. So we'll see. We'll see what is uh, the outcome of that. But it seems weird to me that it kind of broke there. Not sure if maybe the materials because it's using the aluminum, right? So
Mhm.
um, not sure what it.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. So the whistling diesel guy that did these initial torture tests, he came back and said, "Look, I know a lot of people are saying that it's only because I damaged the Cybertruck that this thing broke off." But he went back and did some additional testing with the F-150, and he literally demolished this F-150 and tried to break it, and he could not get that hitch to break. And one of the main differences is because it seems that because the F-150 is using actually stainless steel all the way through there in that part versus Cybertruck's aluminum, that may be the deciding factor there. Aluminum may break and fail versus stainless steel just bends. Anyways, that's kind of like what it's looking like initially, but hopefully Tesla does take a true look at this to see if there's any way to improve that, because there's already been one report of a Cybertruck hitch braking as they were pulling a load. So we don't want that to continue to be, because that puts everyone in danger. So hopefully there's some type of solution that they can maybe add some additional structural rigidity or something there so that it does not break in these extreme corner cases, right?
Yep.
So anyways, pretty interesting there, and that's kind of one of the things that came out here. Have you had? Have you started to see any of the Tesla issues that people tend to see yet?
I mean, I'm not pulling these type of things, right? So, but yeah, I feel that um, it's concerning, but I guess watch out if you're pulling things, right? So I think that be careful on that until it gets sorted out. But yeah, it seems like it shouldn't be breaking for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Well, in any case, I'm still enjoying the truck, but it's something to keep an eye out for. I'm still waiting for FSD just like you, but I am getting my power share installed soon. So for those of you that aren't familiar with what power share is, that's the Cybertruck is able to power your home if you have this special equipment installed. So I'm getting my stuff installed so that, in case we do get a storm, I can have some backup power with my truck to power the home. Um, they came and did their initial reconnaissance and took a look at my setup, and they said yes, it should work. It should be able to power the whole home. That's what I asked for. So they said, okay, and it's a big home. A couple ACs, and there's a lot of large power draw stuff here inside the house. So but it should be okay. So I'm just waiting for the equipment to be delivered so that it can get installed here. So that should be pretty fun and interesting on that. Are you going to try to get the power share? I think you mentioned that you already have something in place,
Yeah,
right?
because in Houston we have hurricanes almost every year right now, I guess. We in this year we install a gas generator, so maybe I'm not going to install in my house. Do you have to pay extra for that?
With the Cyber Beast, it comes with a $4,000 credit, so it's included in the price
So
that I
it,
paid.
so it's the credit. Okay, it's a credit. I think that I have it as well, but once again, I didn't care because um, the I mean, I have that already. So, and for me, is a gas generator is on the side. It's like those Generac.
Mhm.
So, fortunately, I haven't used it. So we'll see. We'll see if I don't even know if it will be able to power my house neither because as well I have a couple ACs and my house is not it's on the sides, right? It's more like a instead of the being high. But yeah, we'll see if it powers it.
Hmm. Okay, well that's pretty cool. Well, I think moving on from Tesla and the Cybertruck, I just close out with just some interesting news on the economy and just wealth in general. So this week, the Fed announced that they are likely to uh, lower rates in this coming month in September. Uh, they are saying that the unemployment rate, it did go up in July, and like we alluded to earlier, that there's been a lot of layoffs and things like that. So they're strongly considering, and at this point, it's very likely that they will lower rates. The Fed will lower rates in this coming month of September. I think it's September 18th is the next Fed meeting, so they'll likely announce how much there. I think that's what's we're looking to see. But that did have an effect on the markets. Did you see this last week?
Yeah, the price. My guess is that's gonna be like maybe a quarter of a point. So I don't think that they want to try to lower it very fast. So that way they can ease into it, maybe quarter, a quarter, a quarter. So it will take them about a year just to get 1 point. So right now, maybe if your average mortgage is, I don't know, almost 6.5, 7%, then it can come back to maybe five and a half, something like that.
Yeah. So you'll see some of the banks and stuff like that start pricing this into their new mortgage rates and things like that, loan rates, car rates. So we'll start to see that trickle down. um, but all the markets, they all had a nice little bump in terms of price action. We saw Bitcoin also kind of go up on the news. It's back up into the mid 60s. By the way, the price of Bitcoin's been going sideways for the last half a year, basically 6 months. Basically, after the last big run up was after all the stuff the ETFs got approved and things like that. I think it went from 40 to 60K range. That was the last big push up, and ever since then it's been kind of trading in this $10,000 range for the most part, right?
Hmm.
Between 60 and 70K.
Yeah, yeah. I think that we'll see if this sparks. If not, I'm not sure. Then the next kind of what it will make it move, right? So sometimes the problem is, so sometimes it's just it's only a few days, 10 days, and boom, it moves, and you just miss them, and it's gone, right? So it never touches again.
Yeah, that's right. They say it's time in the market versus timing the market that matters, right? So if you miss those 10 days out of the cycle, then you miss out on a big portion of the rise up. So uh, conventional wisdom says just buy in at a price that you're comfortable and just wait. Eventually it'll go up. You're going to see variation in price up and down. That's the volatility is normal. With these cycles is you're hoping for these big jumps though. So we'll see. Again, not financial advice, but that's what we've seen in the past with Bitcoin.
For sure. I think that we have a good one, man.
Yeah. So you guys don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. We love to hear from you. We did have an interview last week. If y'all are interested in seeing more interviews, please let us know. I think we've got another one lined up here pretty soon. It would be very interesting to hear. If you haven't watched our viral Bitcoin all-time high meme remix, go check it out. We are hopefully it seems like we're on the way up in terms of price action, so we might be challenging that current all-time high again of 74K. We'll be there again soon, I think. But that's all we've got for today. Dale.
Dale.